Movement is a core part of Counter-Strike. Every input on your keyboard matters when you move because it is the difference between life and death. There are a lot of nuances when talking about movement, and let me tell you all about it. The first and the biggest thing that you need to pay attention to is your keyboard. Imagine this. You are a race car driver and you don't properly stop before going into a turn. Your car can flip over or you can cause a massive crash because you didn't press brake at the needed time. A similar thing in Counter-Strike. If you don't feel your keyboard like a race car driver feels their gas and brake pedal, you can die in the game. So make sure to feel your keyboard first before going into competition. If you want to practice your movement mechanic, hop on the CS2 map that is in the description. Firstly, hop on B-Hop. It is a good warm-up to feel your strafes and your mousepad space. Next, hop on KZ and make sure you're hitting your strafes correctly and moving your mouse accordingly. Lastly, track the bots' heads and counter-strafe and shoot at the same time. This will give you a sense of how to time your counter-strafes correctly with your mouse. If you still aren't confident in your abilities, do dead zone exercises. Essentially, you need to not move your mouse and use your strafe keys to move your crosshair into a headshot. The focus here is to time your counter-strafe and to shoot when the crosshair is over the bot's head. Now, we'll learn some tips and tricks. The first being a biggest mistake that everyone is guilty of is using W and S before engaging in a fight. Pressing W and S decreases your time to execute a counter-strafe, and it will lead to bullet inaccuracy and your speed not being as high. Remember, before any engagement, use only A and D. That way, you will always be ready to counter-strafe and potentially even make the enemy miss their spray. My second tip is to choose correct pathing. The best way to choose a path is to use a further wall to peek a regular angle. However, if you're confident that a person is sitting in a certain off angle or is holding over the knob, the best bet would be to peek from a closer wall. Peeking a knob is a hot topic that requires a read on the RAM because it could be anywhere on the map. If you want to counter the op, first you have to find out where it is. Then you can execute a completely different side so the op has to stand behind smokes or mollies. However, if you are in a 1v1 against an op, you need to jiggle the corn to bait out the shot to pressure the sniper. You can also use your gun to create an illusion that you will peek. You can throw out your pistol to distract the sniper from the angle. Your main objective is to not give an easy fight for the op and make him miss the first shot so you can swarm him. And you might be wondering, what are the best tools to practice your movement? The first would be to play pre-fire maps. I really recommend using Refrag because it features every map and it features every practical scenario there is in the game. Lastly, you should practice on deathmatch because on deathmatches you really improve your fluency in the game so that you don't think about your mechanical skill during the game. In this game mode, you practice your counter-strafing, you're practicing your jiggles, you're practicing your movement, you practice how you position your crosshair, how you're holding angles, you practice everything and it's happening at a very high pace, so you have to stay focused on the crosshair itself and on the way that you move. My last tip would be to have a specific goal for every single movement that you make, because when you don't really know what exactly you want to peek or what exactly you want to do when you're moving, this is when you're making a mistake. Have a specific goal in mind when you're peeking something or you're jiggling something, because sometimes you don't even need to move in order to kill. You can just hold your crosshair on an angle and the enemy will come out at you. Understand when you're supposed to move, understand when you're supposed to hold, and that way you will win a lot more fights. Think more about the enemy and how will they peek into you instead of how you're gonna peek them, because you're practicing all your mechanical skills and you shouldn't be thinking about, oh, I need to aim like this, I need to strafe like that. No, you just need to understand where the enemy is and the magic will happen on itself. Thank you for watching this tutorial. You can always subscribe to us and watch more videos like this. I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.